Data analysts and data scientists have been using different tools and technologies over the years. But in the modern world, there is one programming language that they cannot live without, and that is Python. The core skill that any data analyst needs in order to perform his or her job is a good, sound, foundational knowledge of the Python programming language and the associated libraries that are available in Python. This course helps you get set up with that. It assumes no prior programming experience. It is an introduction to basic Python. It'll take you from zero to an intermediate level at Python, and you will have all the foundation needed to tackle the other libraries that are available in Python. Variables are containers that are used to store values. We'll see the primitive data types that are available in Python and move on to complex data types such as lists and dictionaries. We'll then move on to other core concepts in programming, such as loops, functions, and classes. We'll study for loops and while loops in a lot of detail, and you'll have lots of programming practice which uses these for loops and while loops. We'll then see how we can set up code to be reusable using functions, and we'll also see how functions are first class citizens in Python, meaning functions can be passed in as an input argument to a function, and a function can return a function as its return value. We'll then move on to seeing how we can instantiate and use classes in Python. Classes are a logical grouping of data which represents an entity in the real world. We'll also see how inheritance works in Python. What you'll definitely get when you work on this course is a lot of practice, lots of programming problems, and common interview questions. This you'll practice over and over again, practice on your own, look up other programming problems and practice, and you'll get the foundational knowledge of Python that you need for your job. We'll also cover other useful features in Python that are useful for any data analyst, such as exceptions, logging, and file operations. I've been coding for many years now, but I still remember my struggles from the early days. That's because while I was in undergraduate school, that is in engineering, I didn't really know how to code. Everything I learned, I did in grad school during my master's. The only way to really learn to code is by actually coding. So when you're looking at these lectures, don't just watch them and then try them out later. Make sure you have your Jupyter notebook open and try these out side by side. You should pause the video and try out different permutations and combinations and see if you can understand what's going on. We'll start off with the very basic concepts of Python. Python is a programming language, but essentially, a programming language is at its heart just a calculator. So you can perform operations such as summing up a bunch of numbers like you see on screen, and Python will perform this calculation for you and give you the result right here within this browser window. That's the cool thing about working in a Jupyter notebook. You'll see the result right in front of you on screen. Python is an interpreted language. The only thing you need to know about Python in this situation is that when you write code in one single cell within a Jupyter notebook and then you execute that cell, that code will immediately be executed. There isn't a compile phase when you use Python. It's not like you compile your code and then you run it. So if it's the first time that you're using a Jupyter notebook, how do you execute a cell here? Simply type in what you want to execute, the command that you want to execute within a cell, and then go ahead and hold down the shift and enter keys together. Hit shift plus enter, and that will execute the commands in one cell of your notebook. Here, the command that we've asked our Python interpreter to execute is very simple. We are simply using Python as a calculator and we want to find the sum of all of these numbers. The sum is 13 and you can see the result right here on screen. Numbers in Python can be integers or floating points, and you can perform all of these operations with floating point numbers as well. Floating point numbers are those which have points or decimal points. Notice that we are performing addition as well as subtraction with floating point numbers. Hit shift enter and here is the result on screen. Mathematical operations in Python follow the BODMAS rule. So anything within brackets will be evaluated first. Here 5 plus 2 will be evaluated first, and then the result of that will be multiplied by 4.5 and then 3.4, giving us a result of 107.1. The one interesting thing that you might observe when you perform multiplication is that we use the asterisk or the star sign for multiplication in Python. This is true for almost all programming languages because there isn't a multiply symbol on our keyboard. If you want to perform the division operation in Python, you'll use the forward slash. Here we are dividing 10 by 5. The result of any division operation is by default assumed to be a floating point number. So even though the result here is an integer, which is 2, it will be written as 2.0. Let's see an example of division where the result is not an integer. 12 divided by 5 gives us 2.4. Now, you might want to perform a division operation, but you're only interested in the integral part of the result. You're not interested in what is available after the decimal point. It's possible to perform division of this kind. You'll simply use two forward slashes as you see on screen. So 13 divided by 5, the integer quotient is just 2. Even if the actual numbers that you're dividing contain decimal points, as in this case, we are dividing 27.5 by 2, the result will still be an integer here when we use the double forward slash. The double forward slash will only give you the integer quotient of the division operation. One more example here so that we really understand this. 15 divided by 5. This is an exact divisor, which means the result will be 3. That's what we'll expect when we use the forward slash or the double forward slash. Python also has an operator using which we can get the remainder in any division operation. So this ignores the quotient and only prints out the remainder. The symbol that you use to perform this operation is the percent symbol, and this is called the modulo operator. Now, out in the real world, you may not feel that the modulo operator is very important, but you'll find that there are various instances while programming where this is extremely useful. If you want to see something is divisible by 2 or 3 or so on. If you divide 10 by 3, the remainder is 1, which means 10 modulo 3 is 1. If your numerator is perfectly divisible by the denominator, then the remainder will be 0, which means 20 modulo 4 will be 0. I'm going to try one more example here. Make sure you try enough examples till you've really gotten the hang of this particular operator. 12 modulo 5 is 2. You can also perform math operations which raises one number to the power of another. Here we want 5 raised to the power 2 or 5 square, and this is denoted by the double asterisk sign. The double asterisk sign is what we use to raise one number to the power of another. The number on the left will be raised to the power of the number on the right. 5 square, as we know, is 25. Here are some more examples. 2 cube or 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Now it turns out that in programming languages such as Python, these mathematical operations are not restricted to numbers alone, that is integers and floating points. You can also apply them with strings. It's often said that Python is a very intuitive language. It's like writing English. So hello plus world should give you hello world. The two strings hello and world have simply been concatenated together. They've been added together to form a single string as a result. Notice how there is no space between hello and world. This is because the computer performs literal addition. It does not think of these as words, but simply some kind of text or strings as they are called. It simply concatenates them together. There is no space after hello, no space before world, which is why hello world doesn't have a space in between. One interesting thing for you to try out would be, what if you try to add strings and numbers? Hello plus world plus 3. Now, this Python can't understand. Trying to do this will result in an error. And this is it, your very first error in Python. You'll be encountering a lot of these. You should learn to interpret them so that you can fix your code. This is a type error. It says must be string, not integer. It implies that the third parameter, that is 3, should be a string. It cannot be an integer because we're trying to add it to strings. Notice in the error message that there is an arrow pointing to the line of code where the error occurred. This arrow pointing to the line of code which contained the error is especially significant when you write programs which run into many lines of code.